Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas, 5 at 5 on Christmas Day. It is time to take stock and do a recap of Indian sport in 2025. We've done a lot of cricket in recent times, so I will start with other sports and obviously come to cricket. And in my book, men's cricket and women's cricket are two different sports because even the ball is different. I mean, everything is different. So it will be treated separately, and I will not club them into one sports. Let me start with the sport that in my book has done the worst in this particular year, the sport that takes the wooden spoon. No surprise, anyone who is asked this question and who is an Indian sports fan will have an answer to this question. The cake goes to Indian men's football. An absolutely disaster of a year. Absolutely disastrous. In terms of performance on the field, it was the worst. India, if you see, went down into the rankings up to 142 now. Every single game that we expected would turn things around didn't do that. Bangladesh, Afghanistan, these teams have become impossible to beat. Sunil was asked to come back, which was a wrong call. Manolo Marquez was a wrong choice as national coach. At no point did he have any impact whatsoever. Khalid Jamil, except that Kafa Cup, where India showed glimpses thanks to Gurpreet Singh Sandhu. The rest of the year was bad, and Khalid Jamil did not do anything that made me feel confident that Indian football can be brought on the right track. Now, if that's the on field, off the field is even worse. Court, legal cases, all of this made sure that the FSDL agreement, which kind of concluded on the 8th of December, for whatever reason, without blaming anybody, it did not get renewed. Conversations did not fructify. And thereafter, when All India Football Federation tried, and the responsibility has to come on the All India Football Federation's door, they are the governing body of the sport. So, whatever anyone says, the responsibility for protecting Indian football has to be with the All India Football Federation, and there were no takers for the tender. So, no FSDL post 8th of December, no takers for the tender. After that, now we still don't know what's going to happen. Every single day, there is a bit of a ray of hope with Bengal, Goa, associations trying to take the lead, clubs trying to come together, meetings happening, deliberations going on. All of this has made it very, very painful for Indian men's football. If you ask me at the end of 2025, where does men's football stand? Will there be a league? I'm a born optimist. For me, the water is always, the glass is half full rather than half empty. So I will still say that there will be a league, and I will tell you why I am saying this. I'm saying this because if we are a country that will host the Commonwealth Games, we are a country that will host or want to host the Olympic Games. We are a country that now stages multiple sports competitions with considerable success. So if we do not eventually host a league in one particular year and our football comes to a standstill, I think we will become the laughing stock of the world. We already are being disgraced in front of the world when it comes to football. So I do think there will be a league. I think whether it is the All India Football Federation, whether it is the clubs, the ministry is stepping forward now, the Supreme Court of India also adjudicating on the matter, the sports ministry is actively involved. I do think there will be a league. In what shape or form, when? That's a $1 million question, which I don't think anybody has an answer to. Maybe end of January, maybe early February. Whether it's a single leg, whether it's double leg, like it has been proposed, all of these things are up in the air. Having said that, my belief is that the sport will still kind of turn around in 2026, and we will have a league. Because the truth is, if there is no league, think of the footballers, Think of the ecosystem, the groundsman, the everybody. I mean, people who are associated, the referees, the linesmen, anyone associated with the footballing ecosystem, it will be a death blow. So I do think is going to be very relevant. As far as women's football is concerned, there is indeed green light. I mean, there is a ray of hope there. India qualified, the senior team, the under 20 team, the under 17 team, all of them qualified for the AFC, which I think is indeed a ray of hope. The IWL starting, East Bengal, the recent success of the East Bengal women's team is a massive moment as far as the women's football scenario at the horizon is concerned. So in that sense, I think I'm hopeful about Indian football, the women's football, but I'm pretty disappointed with the broadcast of the IWL. So when I see the IWL, when I see that there is a chance for India, there is hope for India, I do think that we can do much better with the IWL as a property. We can build our women's stars much better. If we see the recent success of Indian women's football, if we see the success of the Kerala Super League, if we see the success of the Bengal Super League, my question is, why can't we do better with the IWL? So, summing up, football takes the cake for the worst performing men's sport in the country in 2025. Women's football continues to be a ray of hope. But as far as the IWL is concerned, or women's football is concerned, plenty more can be done. So that's my summary of Indian football. Before I move on to other sports, let me take any question of relevance that there is. Uh, uh, you know, 1 second. When will India ODI squad? Manik Preet Singh. This is a review sports card. I'm talking football, my friend. Let's answer that later. Shreya Iyer will replace Gill. Sahil Malhotra reported. Let ask Sahil Malhotra, not me. Mishal Chandra, love you, Boryada. Appreciation and admiration. Thank you. Saha retirement is very painful. 100%. Just wish that after retirement he starts speaking the truth and no more lies. Uh, Somebody says football is the worst performing sport. Indian supporter 11. Absolutely correct. Moving on. The sport which I think has done very well, very well. Biggest test of the year coming tomorrow, MCG Boxing Day. Again, Anshu, this is a sport, this is a show on the Indian sport report card, but you are right. Boxing Day test match, 100,000 people, 90,000 people, Ashes, whatever the result is so far, is going to be an absolute spectacle. So if you are a cricket fan, absolutely get up in the morning and watch the MCG test. Having covered the Boxing Day test multiple times, including last year, it is a ritual. It is a culture. It is a spectacle. I mean, to see go in front of that Shane Warne statue and in the morning at 8 a.m. and see what goes on at 9 a.m. and see what goes on. The game starts. It's brilliant. So yes. Uh, Mishal, do you think it's not viable to host? Don't you think it's not viable? No, I do think it is viable. Who says it is not viable? The kind of facilities we now have, if you actually create facilities which are sustainable, if you create facilities which cater to the environment, which are not white elephants, if you ensure that the economic cost does not go out of control, I absolutely think that hosting mega events or using sport as soft power is the way forward, or can be used and should be used. I have worked in bids before. I have been an advocate. I know how bids are done. I know how the CWG or the Olympic Games can benefit. So, but at the same time, I understand where you are coming from, that if the economic costs far outweigh the benefits, then it becomes unviable. But if you keep a check, then absolutely these events can become a real testimony to where your country is and use sport as soft power. Okay. What will be your rating 10 for Indian sports performances? I'll say it's a 9 on 10. That's a high, whatever. Why Indian big entrepreneur businessman can't sponsor ISL? That's a very fair question, Anshu Mishra, because the ROI, in this case, the way the sport has been run, the way things have been run, Reliance, for example, have lost close to 5,000 crores in the last 15 years. And if you see the way things have panned out in Indian football, there are no takers. Clearly, the organization could have been better. The product could have been marketed better. The negotiations could have been handled better. The sport could have been administered better, which is when you would have found takers. And at this point in time, it is not, broadcast or sponsoring a sport is not charity. IPL, for example, is not charity, or for that matter any sport. When I run a business, when I run Rev Sports, my eventual focus has to be at the end of the month. I have to pay salaries to 54 people. So when I have to pay salaries, I've got to keep in mind that the ROI is in green. And today also we have announced a partnership with Tata Motors. Tomorrow I'm announcing another big partnership. In the last 3 days, we've announced with Telangana as the government of Telangana with Tata Motors. So ROI is critical, which has not been the case for football. Let's move on. Badminton. Badminton, I will say it has been a mixed year. As far as badminton is concerned, let's take the elite level. Satvik Chirag, strong year. I've done a backstage with Boria today with Chirag Shetty. You should watch that. 12 noon, we have put that interview out. Chirag spoke very, very well. So I absolutely take Chirag's point that while they have not won a title this year, there are some very strong performances, multiple semifinals, multiple finals, even in the year-ender World Championship, winning the three straight matches before losing in the semi-final, ending up with a bronze, losing to the Chinese pair of Liang and Wang. It is only a matter of time before the semi-final showings are converted into finals and titles. But overall, it has been a very strong year, decently strong year for Satvik and Chirag. When I place it in context, that both of them were down and out after Paris 24, and both of them had injury concerns. Chirag did not know how long it will take. Satvik lost his father and also underwent a very bad injury. So then I realized that it has been a stellar comeback for India's doubles duo. So Satvik and Chirag does give me hope. But a second doubles pair, I don't see that. Pawan Suresh, your interview with Chirag was superb. Thank you very much, Pawan. I appreciate the fact that people are now consuming and watching multi-sport. That's a problem with India, that you do multi-sport, people don't watch. There is one of our viewers, Siddhant Pandey. Siddhant is one guy I appreciate for his comments on hockey. And by the way, Siddhant, I don't know if you're watching today. I've done a very, very good show with Hardik Singh and Jarmanpreet Singh on the Hockey India League, which you will see very shortly in the next few days. I'm also planning to do one with women, Savi and Savita Punia and maybe Salima Tete, which you will also see on Rev Sports. So the focus has always been multi-sport and holistic sports coverage. That is what makes Rev Sports what it is, and the support of 20 plus brands now gives us the edge. Okay, coming back to badminton, the single scenario, Ayush Shetty has come across as a breath of fresh air. I do think Laksha Sen has put in some very strong performances towards the end of the year. Looked that he can easily go the distance in any tournament. Fitness wise, he was there. He could compete with anybody. Maybe he is a top 10 player in terms of potential, maybe a little bit more consistency, except Shiuchi, who I think was the best despite that loss to Popov. I do think Laksha Sen is very much in that league. He can take down a Christie, a Viditsan, a Lo Kuan Yu, anyone. I mean, even a Shiuchi would find it difficult against Laksha. Anders Antonsen is beaten. So Laksha Sen very much there. Pronoy on the wane. I don't think will be the same Pronoy of a couple of years back. We will see the occasional win. So it's Laksha Sen and Ayush Shetty, who, according to me, are the two standout men's singles players in this particular year. I'm a bit disappointed not seeing Priyanshu Rajawat really make the cut. Victor Axelsen absolutely always will be there, is there. But Shiuchi, I think, has been the more consistent in this particular year and has kind of turned the leaf as a singles player. So Laksha Sen, much there. Ayush Shetty, much there. Satvik Chirag in the women's domain. Again, after PV Sindhu, some good performances, Malavika Bansod, some performances by Uddati, some by Anmol Kharab, etc. But no real breakout efforts. So while Pulala Gopichand does tell me that even states like Mizoram doing wonderfully well in badminton, so much so that they are national team champions, Mizoram. Even in the junior world championship team that India won a bronze, there were two players from Mizoram. So that kind of stories give me a lot of hope about badminton. Overall, a mixed year. I will say 6.5 out of 10 for badminton in this particular year. Moving on to hockey. Hockey, I think, is a sport where, again, we have to make a difference between men's hockey and women's hockey. We have seen a pretty strong showing as far as men's hockey is concerned. Sir, we are not able to understand what happens in sports scene. Cricket too, last night, domestic page uploaded a Virat batting video in their page. Now it is deleted. What can be the reason? Because it is they don't have the rights. They don't have the rights because anybody who puts a video will be sent a notice by the BCCI. Any reporter, any person, because the feed was not accessible. I checked with the BCCI media manager as well. Except the host broadcasters, in this case Geostar or BCCI, nobody has the right to put out video footage. If you do that, your account can be taken down or you can be pulled up. And this is a violation because a lot of money is paid. Now, the second corollary question, Nam's Addictor, is why didn't they show it? Because not all games. I mean, nobody knew that Rohit and Virat would be playing this particular match long back. Broadcast set schedules are fixed long back, which is why they were not able to show it. But I understand your angst. I understand your frustration that you would have wanted to see Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, but the fact that nobody else can show it is why you are not seeing it anymore. Uh, Tanvi Patri, yes, absolutely, absolutely, I agree. Moving on to hockey, women's hockey has been a bit of a letdown, not a bit of a letdown, quite a letdown. Getting out of the Pro League, losing out in the Asian Championship, not competing against China really, multiple times losing to the Chinese. In every way, women's hockey has not been able to make the cut as far as I'm concerned. And this particular year, a massive year, 2026. Can you remove this super chat, please, whoever is at the back end? 2026 will be a really huge year as far as women's hockey is concerned. Come the Asian Games, India will have a crack at qualification for the Olympic Games. Last Olympic qualification, we lost out. This time round, can we do it? I was speaking to Hockey India. They are speaking to multiple coaches since Harinder. They want to get it right. Unfortunately, Harinder Singh stepped down. Harinder Singh stepped down, and that was because of lack of performance. Harinder said he wasn't enjoying it. He wasn't enjoying it. In every way, women's hockey has been a real bummer. Men's hockey, after a couple of disappointments in the Pro League, the team came together in the Asian Championship. We did very well. If you remember, I had done an interview with Craig Fulton. In three ways, men's hockey, I think, has turned the corner. One is in terms of physical fitness. The second is in terms of mental fortitude. The third is in terms of overall ability to win medals now. Be it at the Junior World Cup, where India came back and won a medal after losing that semi-final to Germany. India winning a historic bronze medal in Chennai. In the senior level, at the Asian level, India are now practically unbeatable. 2026, a massive year for hockey with the World Cup rather, in Belgium and Netherlands in August, and within 2 weeks, the Asian Games in Japan. I actually asked Hardik Singh and Jarmanpreet Singh in today's interview, which you guys will see in about a couple of days, that can a team peak? Can a team peak in 2 weeks? Is it even possible? Both of them, Hardik in fact said that people have not done it before. Nobody has done it before, but there is always a first. And that's what they are aspiring to do. I love that attitude. I absolutely love that attitude that India is aspiring to do well, both in the World Cup and in the Asian Games. I have my doubts because physically it is a very demanding sport. And to turn back and kind of, once again peak in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks will be a difficult one. Having said that, I also think that qualifying for the Olympic Games will be a massively important moment because then you have 2 years to get ready for LA, which is what happened between the last Asian Games and Paris. Once that Olympic qualification is out of the radar, that it's done and dusted, then you can actually prepare a team for LA, and it will be a historic third consecutive medal that India will go for. So men's hockey definitely decent. And India has absolutely competed with European teams, even Australia, which was a bogey side. India, definitely competing with a Belgium, with a Germany, with the Netherlands, with an Argentina, with Australia. In the women's game, we have to get much better in 2026. I will say 7 out of 10. Men's hockey, decent. Women's hockey, not good. Moving on to cricket, uh, top four contenders for the Football World Cup. Argentina, good side, though Leo Messi not the same. Spain, fantastic side. Uh, could be a multiple teams, actually, multiple teams. Germany not the best, as Lothar Matthäus was telling me a couple of weeks back in Calcutta, but there are many decent sides in world football at the moment which can compete. Brazil will always be there, but not the greatest side, but will always be there. England will always be there. There are some very good sides, but Spain, I think, will definitely rank, according to me, as one of the favorites going into the competition. Imagine this, Leo Messi passing on to the mantle to Lamine Yamal could well be a moment of 2026. Uh, no, we are not there in the shortlist for 2030 because we are hosting 2030 Commonwealth Games. So you cannot host two events in one calendar year. It is not possible like that. Commonwealth Games will be a massive, and it's the 100th year of the Commonwealth Games, which started in Hamilton, Canada in 1930. So India is hosting the centenary edition of the Commonwealth Games in 2030. Moving on. France, yes, sorry, absolutely, Pankaj Agarwal. France, absolutely, France. Uh, Moving on to women's cricket, massive year. I mean, who am I to say this? Massive year for the women's game. They came back after a string of defeats to win that World Cup, which could well turn the fortunes of the team. There is another World Cup coming up in about 6 months' time. India still, according to me, a better 50-over team compared to a T20 team. We are seeing some decent results against Sri Lanka, but as Trisha Ghoshal, had done a piece, fielding remains a concern. We would want the team to get better and kind of make a strong pitch for the T20 World Cup again in England in June. Now that you've won a World Cup, Deepti Sharma gave an interview saying her life is just starting. And yes, and she's kind of topping the charts. India does have talent in the women's game. The WPL, which will now start very soon in January, has helped. That barrier has been broken, that mental thing has been broken. So will this translate into consistent winning performances at the senior level is something that we have to wait and see. But definitely a very strong year as far as the women's game is concerned. Men's game, I've done a review a couple of days back when I was doing a Gautam Gambhir review. Red ball cricket, pretty bad with the two defeats against South Africa. At home, even India, the second test match against the West Indies was a bit of a stretch. Year started with a defeat in Australia. Then the England series was the only high point as far as red ball cricket is concerned. That was a massive series. White ball cricket, Indian men's team has done fantastically well, both in the T20 format and in the white ball format, the 50-over format. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli gave the fans a hell of a lot of joy in the last couple of months, clearly now making it a strong pitch for World Cup 2027. The fact that they're turning up for domestic cricket, the fact that they turned up for that Australia series is evidence that the hunger is very much there from both these stalwarts, and one can absolutely justifiably now say that both of them are gunning for World Cup 2027. Can they really make it count? Can they really make it count? I do think they can. It's still about 20-21 months away. But when you look at Virat and Rohit and you see them turning out, look, both of them have young families. They could have easily played VHT in January. They could have played Vijay Hazare Trophy in January, spent Christmas and New Year with family, and then kind of come back and then played domestic cricket. They did not do that. Cricket is still priority, and that for me was a very strong sign as far as Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are concerned. And because of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, the kind of buzz you are seeing in domestic cricket is quite fantastic, and that's great. All the players, whether it's Surya, whether it's Ishan, whether it's Shubman, whether it's anybody playing Rishabh, everybody playing domestic cricket, Abhishek Sharma, all of them playing domestic cricket is very good news as far as Indian cricket. So overall, men's cricket, I would say again a 7.5 out of 10. Two white ball formats doing decently very well. Red ball cricket doing very average. At home, again spin, big question mark. which India will have to use, get better. India travels to Sri Lanka, will be spin in August, and then New Zealand. India has not won there, so real question marks will be asked in 2026. So that's my kind of review of cricket. Moving on to a sport which I think, okay, let me take a few questions. Gautam Gambhir not suitable for test format, too early. Yes, you can say that he's not done, but I still believe, Raju, that had Shubman Gill been there in that Kolkata test match, 10 out of 10 against 11 is always a tussle. India should and could have won that test match, and the whole thing could have been different had India won that. So a tad unlucky as well, but I understand where you're coming from. The results at home, whitewash against New Zealand and whitewash against South Africa, aren't the results that anybody would have expected, and Gautam should be the first person to say that. So yes, he will have to radically improve India's test record. Overseas, we have done well in England, so I'd be keen on seeing Sri Lanka and New Zealand. So my suggestion is give him one more year, and then we will see. Ravi's coaching tenure, there was a drinking culture in the Indian team. No, I don't think so. Absolutely, I don't think so. Who is saying all of this, and where is all of this coming from? No, I mean a culture of drinking in the Indian team. Wow, this is not something that I think. There was a culture that, like the Australians, they would cumulatively come together after a match and start drinking together. No, I absolutely don't think anything like that was there. Why are there not as many players in Australia like India? Why are there not as many players in? I don't understand the question. It makes no sense. Boryada, what's your opinion about Neeraj? Yes, good question. I was coming to athletics. I will do two more sports as far as the review is concerned. Athletics. I thought the star of this particular year was Murali Srishankar with his comeback. That was a stellar comeback. Multiple 8+ jumps after the comeback when many thought his career was done. As far as Neeraj Chopra is concerned, very average year. Very average year. Why are there not players like Australians in India? Okay, so Gargi has sent me the question. Why are there not players? I do think there are. I do think there are players in India. There is enormous amount of talent in India. Uh, I don't think Australia is ahead compared to India in any stretch. Absolutely not. Australia is an aging side. It's still Pat Cummins and Scott Boland and Josh Hazelwood and Mitchell Stark. After that, what? Look at the next generation of pacers in Australia. No one comes as close. So absolutely there is a lacuna. I don't think India is a better white ball side than Australia. We went to Australia, we won the T20 series. We went to Australia, we competed in the ODI white ball 50 over series. I don't think this is a fair comment. Red ball cricket, in Australia, Australia has done well. India was competitive, if you remember. Had Jasprit Bumrah played that final test match in Sydney full and he was not injured, India could have well won that test match, which was a low scoring affair. Coming to Ravi Shastri quote, that is Monty Panesar. I ignore that. That's Monty Panesar's suggestion. Just ignore that. Coming to the athletics point, Neeraj Chopra had an injury prone year. Despite that, there was some highs for Neeraj Chopra, and given he is Neeraj Chopra, he will take some time off season. I am absolutely very very confident that Neeraj Chopra will come back really really strong in 2026. We are a country that kind of lives on multi-sport. Okay. Uh, we are a country that kind of lives on multi-sport, and Neeraj Chopra is a star. The high point has to be Neeraj breaking that 90-meter barrier. That happened in Doha, but thereafter the graph kind of fell. World Championship did not make the final in Tokyo. That was a real blow for the Indians. Everybody thought that Neeraj would step up after his World Championship medal the last time round and win a medal. But then that's what I'm saying, that yes, he had a back pain, he had a bad back. And Neeraj Chopra stayed in contention right through the Diamond League, was right up there, 1-2, 1-2, continued to make podiums. So Neeraj Chopra, I'm very, very hopeful, is an absolute champion. According to me, India's greatest athlete of all time. And I keep Sachin Tendulkar, Abhinav Bindra in mind, or a Sindhu in mind, or a Mary in mind when I say Neeraj Chopra is the greatest Indian athlete of all time. So I do think he will make a spectacular comeback in 2026. Multidisciplinary Asian Games. massive. We are a multi-discipline, multi-sport in that sense, a country that kind of follows multi-discipline events. And Neeraj Chopra will compete. And Arshad Nadeem too did not make the final. Could be another picture postcard competition at the Asian Games. But javelin has become a very competitive event. Neeraj will have to be back, really will have to be back. Sachin Yadav with that 86.57 in the World Championship final gave us a lot of hope. So there is a huge crop of javelin throwers who are throwing 80 plus, who are making the cut. Sachin Yadav has the body, has that physique, is very strong, is kind of robust, has that kind of throw. We have to see how Sachin Yadav kind of translates and makes it into the big league in 2026. Asian Games athletics, there are some real high points in athletics at the Asian level. Anurani continued to do well. Murli Srishankar made a spectacular comeback. There are some. Gulveer Singh, I think the real standout star of this particular year has to be Gulveer Singh. Gulveer Singh in Calcutta, he was there the other day at the TSK, and there was a world record kind of field with Joshua Cheptegei. Joshua Cheptegei finished the race in 11.5, 11.49, and Gulveer was 12.06. 25 kilometers. Gulveer was very much there with the pack. Gulveer has really come of age with proper training, with proper facilities. Watch out for Gulveer Singh at the Asian level, at the Commonwealth level. Gulveer Singh could be India's breakout track star in 2026. Watch out for Gulveer Singh. Questions? Too harsh on Vaibhav, serious provocation from Pakistan. Look, Vicky, let me once and for all say this. Pakistan is a rogue country. I don't care for Pakistan. All of us, you, me, everybody, each one of us admit that Vaibhav is an exceptional talent. We have also seen a lot of talent go down the drain if they don't have temperament, or if temperament is an issue. It is not about Pakistan. Pakistan is a rogue country. We've seen that with the Asia Cup senior. All I'm saying, and I'm very clear about what I've said. If you read many, people, and by the way, I've got comments from both sides. Today, somebody commented this. This is about some time back. In fact, I read the comment and I was thinking that how this kind of thing has been absolutely divided. I'll read out one comment for you. 1 second. Where is it? I'll read out one comment for you and you will understand what I'm talking about as far as this one is concerned. Yeah. This is from a guy called some Elvaraj. I've lost the comment now. He says, I hope Vaibhav Suryavanshi reads the piece and gets it. The point is, all of us want Vaibhav Suryavanshi to be there. And if he has to be there, it is talent meshed with temperament. That's all. And the point is that you want him to score many hundreds. Yesterday, he scored 100 against Arunachal. You want him to do that. He's got that talent. When he's playing sport, and many have said, but he's 14 years old, 15 years old. When he's playing IPL, he's not playing as a 14-year-old. He's playing as a proper cricketer. So what we are talking about, Tendulkar played Pakistan at the age of 16. We are talking about temperament. We are comparing. Why? Because this guy has exceptional talent. That's it. So if you think there is any other motive, that's your call, not mine. I've made that very, very clear. If anyone wants to think otherwise, that's his problem. I don't care. I know what I'm talking about. I want the guy to be successful. It is absolutely imperative that we hold up the mirror and not do hero worship, because we are also at fault by not holding up the mirror for people. Because and everybody makes mistakes. Vaibhav made a mistake. It's our job to hold up the mirror because we want the guy to be successful, take lessons from it, and then get it better and better because he's an exceptional talent. We always utilize KL Rahul, don't give him respect. I don't think that is the case at all. All of us give KL Rahul the respect. He was very, very good in England. Everybody said that he could have been better against South Africa. So it's, if you ask me, even after his last kind of resurgence in the last year and a half, KL Rahul still averages mid-30s in test match cricket as an opener. So there has been a problem. If you don't agree to that somebody as talented as KL Rahul mid-30s as an average, now that's a problem. That is purely. I mean, he could have done better. If we don't accept that, again, we are not holding up the mirror, and we are saying we are kind of ignoring the problems and masking the problems, which is not something I will do. after not included in 2030, what are their hopes? Absolutely strong, because like I said to you, we are hosting the 2030 Commonwealth Games. That's a senior competition with 60 countries, multiple countries participating. The Centennial Games, India is already on record saying that India will do a full-fledged games and not a curtailed games like Glasgow did. So it will be a full-scale Commonwealth Games in 2030. India has a very strong chance for the Olympic Games. Targeted dialogue will start in 2027, and in 2029 the bid will happen. Uh, Boryada, you're like a father figure for me. I take a lot of inspiration. Would like to meet you. Very humbled. Very humbled. I wish you all the very best on Christmas Day, and I really think that you kind of fulfill all your wishes. The final sport that I want to talk about, the sport that according to me is India's number one sport in terms of achievement in 2025, and that is shooting. You look at the range of talent at the junior level and at the senior level, and you are blown. You are winning world championship medals like this, you are winning world cup medals like this. Many said, "Arey, we are winning world cup medals, China is not there. What about the world championship?" The moment the world championship happens in Cairo, the graph will dip. What about the year ender in Doha? What will happen there? The graph will dip. And look at India. Look at India. Whether it is an Aishwari Pratap Tomar or a Sif Samra making a comeback, whether it is Suruchi Inder Singh, Samrat Rana, you name them, you have them. Indian shooting at the end of 2025 is India's go-to sport. The level of talent that I'm seeing between the ages of 14 and 22, 23 makes me, and I'm making a prediction today, 20 medals at the Asian Games again in 2026, because clearly the qualification scenario has changed, number of shooters per country has changed kind of. So India, depending on the number of people, but still I believe that 20 medals at the Asian Games only from shooting is a distinct possibility as far as India is concerned. And the level of talent, look at pistol. You have a Suruchi Inder, you have a Manu Bhakar, you have a Nesha Singh, you have enormous amount of talent. You turn your gaze to rifle, even men's pistol, tremendous. Whether it is an Anish, whether it is some of the other, it's fantastic talent. You turn your gaze to rifle, Rudransh Patil, solid. I mean, you turn your gaze to rifle. It is brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant. Arjun Babuta, Rudransh Patil. You might just say that, but we've not won. We've not won in rifle that many medals, but it's very competitive. The highest scores are 633, 34 at the moment. But India's performances in Cairo, India's performances, Samrat Rana, look at the way Samrat Rana kind of held his nerve against the top shooters, and every shooter in the world was there. Suruchi Inder Singh did not make the finals of the World Championship in Cairo, then came back at the year ender in Dubai and in Doha and blazed through, literally blazed through the field and won. Manu Bhakar may not have won too many medals, but has been consistent making finals. Esha Singh has again been consistent making finals. There are young shooters, there are senior pros, there are mature shooters. Clearly, the coaching system that has been put in place by the NRAI under Kalikesh Singhdeo is doing wonders. And I'm greatly hopeful that with the shooting league, which will start, the shooting franchise Premier League, which will start in February, I think between 16th of February and the 26th of February in Delhi, will do India's shooting tremendous job. I am very, very hopeful of shooting. I was telling Kalikesh the other day, I actually believe India can win 5 to 6 medals in shooting alone, more at the LA 28 games. If shooters, the talent is honed and nurtured and properly matured, India can absolutely win those many. What about Nishant Dev? Firstly, it was a disappointment. Look, Nishant, I know Nishant very well. He realized he was disgruntled with the state of Indian boxing when he decided this, but I don't think we've lost Nishant completely. I do think that he can make a comeback into amateur and contest again. But in Paris, when I was there in that venue at the Nishant Dev Arena, I still think Gagan Narang, as the chef de mission, should have protested. It was a wrong verdict. I think Nishant Dev should have won that. He won the first round. There was no way he could have not won that verdict. And after that, the collapse happened. Mentally, he was not there, because had he won that quarter final, he could have gone ahead and won a medal at the Paris 24 Olympic Games. My relationship with Sushant, I always wish everybody all the very best. Any journalist who is trying to make a living out of this profession, I wish them the best. In terms of principles, we differ. We absolutely will differ, but disagreements are okay. I always will wish that anybody in my fraternity, because it's a very small fraternity, all the very best. In terms of one single achievement in this particular year, I will say it is the Women's World Cup win that will stand out as the one singular achievement in front of us. That was the high point. Something that will come very close will be shooting at the Cairo World Championship. To see India win that many medals will be a very close thing. Tomorrow I will do chess. Tomorrow I will do archery, both compound and recurve. I will do a little bit more cricket. Obviously, I will delve into the Boxing Day Test match as well, and I will also try. Uh, uh, don't call anyone a joker or anything like that. You might differ with him. I do. I absolutely differ with his ways and means and what he does. But he's also trying to make a living in a fraternity, which is very difficult at this point in time, Renu. So, little bit more restraint, little bit more, how do I say, patience. And if you don't like his work, don't watch. There are plenty of other platforms. Go there and watch. Don't abuse, criticize, but to use words like this, not necessary. Indian supporter, that's the last comment I will take. So not so good news with Nishant. You're right, not so good news with Nishant for sure. Indian supporter, I live in Germany. There are many fans for Rev Sports channel. Sir, if you come to Germany, want to meet you and thank you for the incredible analysis. Appreciate Indian supporter 122, and I will come to Germany. I've been to Germany plenty of times for conferences, for academic work, and to watch sport. And I will come to Germany multiple times in the future. Whenever I do, I would love to meet you and catch up with you guys. So thank you very much for all the love and appreciation. And I will come back with the rest of the sports. Like I said, I want to do a little bit more shooting. I will do archery, I'll do compound and recurve. I will do Paralympic sport at length. I will do chess at length. So all of the other sports, the Indian sports review will continue tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, I think